Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We are live. It's Sunday Night Live. We are joined by Flex and Sophie. Lots to talk about tonight. Some very interesting comments from Ryan Giggs. Obviously some transfer news, developments today, players we will be getting and players we now definitely won't be getting. But my very first question is going to be from a United Stander who sent us this. I think we got it by email this morning, and it was a very good question. I don't know where I stand on this, so I'm going to get Sophie and Flex's points and the live comments as well. Effectively saying that Manchester United's transfer policy is broken because of the sort of players we're signing. Now, we've been compared to Liverpool and Man City and their great football and our boring football, but this was quite a new thing on me that I had to do a little bit of research on it. So thanks to Stuart Weatherall who sent it to us. But effectively what he was saying is that United's transfer policy is as broken as their style of play under Jose. When you look at United, they've signed Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, Pogba, Matic, Sanchez, all players who are either coming towards the end of their career, but that wasn't really the point. All players that are established players from elsewhere. We're buying somebody else's established talent. Whereas when you look at Liverpool and Manchester City, Laporte, Mendy, Stones, Sane, Silva, Ederson, Jesus, all players that are good players, but they've not completed their journey. There's something there for Pep to make them great players. Liverpool, Fabinho, Van Dijk, Matip, Mane, Salah, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Wijnaldum, all players that are not at the top of their game, but are players that Klopp can mould to what they want to be. Is that something... I thought it was a really good point, Sophie. I want to get your points and the points in the live comments because I'd never thought of this before. But is United's transfer policy actually a bit of a problem? Because we're just going out... One thing about Liverpool and Man City as well is they don't generally spend anything more than 60 million. City spend a lot of money, but they get a lot of players for around 60 million. And the reason they are that price is because they've not completed the journey yet. And Pep wants to complete the journey with those signings, whereas we're always seem to be going for the ones that are established.
Yeah, first I want to say that is a really good point. I didn't think of that either. So he makes a great point there. I think you have to question our transfer policy under Jose. We've mentioned it a few times on here. A lot of short-termism. The players that we've played, they're obviously not going to be sticking around for a long time, nearing the end of their career. Zlatan, prime example of that. So I think there should definitely be a concern. United over the years have been signing young players who haven't yet flourished, but they've got that ability to. And under Jose, we haven't really done that, have we? Pogba, yes, he is still young, but he's a player who obviously had a lot of expectation. We paid 89 million for him, and he hasn't reached that height. But I think other than that, the likes of Matic, Zlatan, Alexis, they're all short-term players who we're hoping going to do a job over the short term. And I do see a massive problem in that, to be honest. And well compared with Liverpool and City, look at their style of football compared to ours. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's a really great question. And obviously, if people send us stuff like that, we're more than happy to speak about it. It's your channel at the end of the day, and certainly something Sophie hadn't thought of, I hadn't thought of. George Kyle says he'd rather buy proven quality. I sort of agree with George on that because I think that's what United do need. But we've still bought a lot of players that are meant to be proven quality. A lot of players. So what's gone wrong there? And actually, you say you'd rather buy proven quality. Well, Man City didn't buy proven quality. They brought quality on its way up. This is the point. It's like everyone's talking about the way we're playing on the pitch, Flex, but actually, is there an issue in the way we conduct our transfer business? I mean, somebody just said there, the problem is Jose can't develop players, so he has to buy established players.
That's a very good point, and that's what I was going to sort of home in on. It depends on the style of manager that you've got. If you look at the style of managers that City and Liverpool have, they've got very much nurturing managers. Mourinho is not a nurturing manager. He never has been, probably never will be. It's not his style to nurture someone and bring the best out of them and get them to an elite level. He gets proven quality. And then there's the fact of, obviously, being Man United, A, we're going to pay over the odds of the players, and B, the expectancy for us to go out and get world-class players, especially in a time where we're not playing well, that might be slightly higher. I think in obviously the days of Fergie, where he used to breed young players into the team and he had an ethos of doing that, he was able to do that because he didn't have the pressures of obviously where's your next trophy coming from. And we're kind of in that situation where we've got a manager who their style is not to develop players. That's not his niche anyway. And then on top of that, he's got the added pressure of he just needs results and he just wants them now. I remember a few weeks back we was talking on here saying what is the direction of the club? Is it a short-termism, which is we haven't won the league now in 5 years, going on 6, then going to be going on 7, etc., etc. So let's just get a Premier League title over the line, whether the players are reaching 35 or not. If they've got the experience to do it for one season, let's just do it. Then work from there. Or is the focus of the club to still find talent that needs to be nurtured into top quality talent? Because I think we're not quite clear on that yet. I honestly do. And you look at this, the style of Liverpool and even Tottenham to a certain extent, and obviously City, they've got a clear direction, which is, okay, we might not be going for the cream of the crop, but we've got a manager that's going to develop very good players into excellent players. And that's, you can see they're going in that direction. With us, I kind of think we're almost saying that, okay, Jose is not someone who's going to get someone young and develop them, and he's going to want the success now. That's what he done, and up to the last 2 years he hasn't had it yet. So we're in a very sticky situation. I agree with a lot of Man United fans where they say this transfer window is the biggest in Jose's career. I think it's the biggest in his career, and it's huge pressure on him, because does he say, right, tell you what, I need to go for the likes of Fred so I could develop him. He looks, like a forward-thinking player and work on it, or do I just scrap that and go for a 30-year-old who's already been there, done it, but maybe not quite there? I don't know. It's a massive one for Jose to sort out.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, the Phil 6686 says it's only a week into the transfer window. Yeah, I agree, and I think Fred will be done in the next 2 days. But the question from the person who sent it into us really was a bigger question than that. It was like, everyone focused on Liverpool and City because of the way they play football, but actually look at their transfer policy. They just buy players that are, they're going to be good players. Like, look at Salah, and look what has happened there. I don't think Timo Werner, Leon Bailey, Pulisic, these are all players we'd love to see come to United. I don't think any of us expect Mourinho to make that sort of a signing, and that's the point that the United stander who sent it in was trying to make, is that we talk about the style of play, but actually is our transfer policy broken as well? This obsession with going and buying established players. Of course, I've got to look at it from my point of view and give my thought on it, and that is that I actually believe this summer we do need to buy established talent because the squad isn't good enough. We have signed Lindelof, Bailly, and I would say Lukaku as well is a development player. He's not done it at a top club yet. So Lukaku, Bailly, and Lindelof, Mourinho can do it, but actually when you compare the way he signs players to what Pep and Klopp do, yeah, they generally 90% of their players they sign are on the upward curve, whereas Mourinho probably 70% of what he signs are established players from other clubs. But it is interesting. It was a great point, and yeah. Thanks everyone for that. Alex Ball says, Mark, would you have been happy with Keita and Fabinho? I don't know. Would you have been happy with Keita and Fabinho as our midfield business this summer? Flex is nodding.
100%. Yeah. Mobile, strong. That's 100%. 100% would be happy with that. But if we get Fred and maybe Savic, then that sort of counters that argument. But I saw you say earlier on, Mark, that our midfield's been so slow and lethargic and lack of legs, and lack of mobility. To have players like Keita, which you got to rate Liverpool because they signed him from last season, planning already forward. They've already got that in the bag. And to add Fabinho into that, then you got Oxlade. You're looking at a midfield that's starting to, that's a strong midfield, and that's how we should be looking. So, if we get Fred, which looks like it's going to happen in the next couple of days, then another midfielder of some sort that's forward thinking and is mobile, then that would show me that Jose's trying to address that situation, because the engine room has been boring and slow for the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. Taj Singh, thanks for the contribution. He says Fred has left the Brazil squad to complete a medical. This deal's been done for a long time. A lot of people have been reporting it, and it should be over the line in the next 48 hours, which will be fantastic. Remember, smash a like on the video if you are watching live. Let's see if we can get up over 500 while we're live. Sunday Night Live, the flagship show of the United Stand. Flex and Sophie with me on a Sunday night. But just to pick up on that point, Keita, Fabinho, would you take that? Sophie, would you be happy with that? And what's your thoughts on the Fred deal? It looks like it's going to happen now. Mid-20s, Brazilian. He's part of that setup. He's a smaller player than what we're used to under Jose. He likes to dribble. He can put his foot in. Bit of tenacity. Obviously, there's always the question marks about whether he can adapt from the Ukrainian league to the English league. But are you some people are thinking he's going to flop. Some people think he's not good enough. Some people think he's going to be a great signing. I mean, what's your general thoughts on the Fred signing? I nearly said Flex then.
I'm excited about Fred joining, to be honest. As Flex mentioned, just our midfield looks slow, lethargic, overrun at times, and I think we need a bit of flair coming through the middle. And I'm hoping that he can provide that. From what I've seen of him, he's got vision, great feet, and he's got the legs that we need in the middle. Yeah, he's smaller, but if he can, if he can match him playing in the Premier League, then height for me is not a major thing. I know Jose has got a major, but for me it's not. Pep Guardiola was looking at him for City as well, which has got to tell you something about the kid. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think we need to address that midfield. For me, it was going to be Fred or Savic, and we've had Fred. I would love to see Savic as well, obviously. But I get the feeling it's one or the other. But we need to address that issue in the middle. And if Fred is the answer, then which I hope he is, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. Nathan Schofield does have the liver bird as his image and says Keita over Fred. So you sort of ruined your comment by having the Liverpool thing next to it. There's no credibility now. But if you'd not had that, I might have thought, oh, it's an interesting point. It isn't. He's a Liverpool fan. I wouldn't take Keita over Fred. I think it's quite close. But I like the look of Fred. I liked the look of Fred from what I saw in the Champions League. I haven't seen him 30 times. I'm not going to profess that. I don't watch the Ukrainian League very often. I did watch a couple of their games in the Champions League. I like the look of him and I like the look of his attributes. And if it works, I think he's something very, very different. Our supporters... that whizzed by. De Gea has said that he's happy and United in a press conference when asked about Madrid's interest. Pib Tomlinson, thanks for that. That's good, positive news. We can't be doing with losing De Gea. And Fred, says Paul Robinson, Mourinho will sit him on the bench for 4 months saying he has to adapt. Lindelof bench buddy. Well, I hope that doesn't happen, Paul. But I do hope that we sign another midfielder. Remember, if you've got things you want to say, it is Skype show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So the Skype show's back tomorrow. Wasn't on last Monday because of the bank holiday and we had to jig things around. But tomorrow it is on. So if I'm going to go back to you on this one very quickly. Titi is a player we've mentioned quite a bit on the United stand because he did have a release clause, centre-back for Barcelona, £50 million. He's now signed a new contract at Barcelona, having obviously done the usual trick of mentioning Manchester United to get the new contract. Not surprised by that. I don't know what you think, but do you think we need a centre-back? Because there's still the possibility of Toby Alderweireld.
I think, to be honest, if Phil Jones goes, which I would like to see, don't mean to be nasty, but I'd like to see Phil Jones go, then yeah, I'd like to sign a centre-back. Titi didn't really want it United, and I'm not shocked at all that he signed a new contract. But yeah, if we can get that deal across, with Spurs going to do business with us, then definitely. But I think Phil Jones will have to go. I mean, it's always talk of Smalling or Jones. Personally, I would keep Smalling at United and let Jones go. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. I think we'll have to let one go first before signing one.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Taj Singh's just made a contribution again. He says, what's your thoughts on Alderweireld? Which we must have a crystal ball because we've just started talking about that. But thanks, Taj. I mean, yeah, Umtiti's not going to happen, Flex. I mean, what's your thoughts? You've obviously watched a lot of the games at Old Trafford with those match-going fans. So, as I've said before, when I used to go and people used to get on Giggs' back, people don't believe it. And when you're in the crowd, you do get different feelings about what that crowd feel about things. Do you think your thoughts and the Old Trafford faithful, do you think there is an urge that we want a centre-back, or do you think it's just about using the right combination of what we've got, considering Lindelof, Rojo, Bailly even aren't really being picked? It's always Smalling and Jones.
Yeah, from going to all the games this season, the general consensus among match-going fans that I'm around anyway is we definitely need a centre-half, if not two. Most fans that I've heard of numerous occasions, not just even when they make mistakes, just when they're just on the ball, not even really doing much. There's fans around me saying, "Oh, why are these two clowns still at the club?" And and that's obviously their opinion. But from my opinion, I think it's players are here from the Fergie era. He managed to get the best out of them, but I think they have like a batch of good games. Both of them. Smalling more so. Jones more so will have like 6 good games and then make some awful mistakes that cost us the game. And I'm not just talking about the FA Cup final. Over his Man United career, that's just been the story of it. If it's not that, then it's injuries. Smalling's a bit different. Maybe not as injured as much, but again, he'll have a few good games and then like significant mistakes. And I just think we need to sort that. If anything, at the moment, we've actually got too many centre halves. If you actually think about it, we've got Bailly, we've got Jones, we've got Rojo, we've got Smalling and Lindelof. That's too top heavy. And really, Jose should have a best 2 out of them already. But the fact that he hasn't, and he put Lindelof in last year, and it hasn't worked out. He didn't really play him as often as we would have liked once he started settling down. Yes, he had a poor start. And obviously Eric Bailly bought the year before and looked like a real good buy. And for one reason or another, for a mix between injuries and lies about players who need to play in the World Cup and all this nonsense, he just didn't fancy him. So something's wrong there. So we definitely need to address the centre-back pairing, because to win the title, you need to have not even a rough idea. You need to know what your best back 5 is. You need to know it. And apart from De Gea, and obviously the fullback situation, which we're not happy with, our back 5 is not solid enough. It's not. And the stats are a bit misleading, because make no mistake, man, De Gea gets peppered. Like, he makes a whole load of saves, but he gets peppered. And the reason why he made so many saves and probably got so many clean sheets is because he has to work harder than any other keeper. Do you know what I mean? I know that might sound silly because there's teams down the bottom who may face way more shots than we do. I understand that, but in the grand scheme of things, at the top clubs, we definitely have to make more saves than anyone else, and that shouldn't really be happening, because our defence should be a lot tighter. So I definitely think we need a centre half. For me, Alderweireld would be perfect, brilliant. I'm not concerned with his age. I think with centre halves they can go a little bit longer than obviously your attacking players and stuff like that, to start playing with their head more than their feet. So Alderweireld, he's strong, he's Premier League proven. And like you said, the buyout clause is not that bad. So he hasn't been playing at Spurs. He's refused to sign a new contract. All the signs are there of him wanting to go, or us being able to maybe negotiate. But I would definitely take him, and I would get rid of Jones, maybe even both, Jones and Smalling.
Interesting. Some cracking comments coming in tonight. We've nearly got 3,000 people are watching, so please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get up to 1,000 while we're live. That'd be fantastic, because we've still got loads of time to go. London Contact says, give Lindelof a chance. Him and Bay make a great pair. You know what? I do agree. I'm going to go against what Sophie and Flex say there. I don't necessarily think we need to sign a centre-back. I just think it's the right combination. Obviously, Bay, and I do believe in Lindelof. I do. And also, Rojo played well at centre-back a year ago. So I totally agree with him about Jones and Smalling. I like Smalling as a backup, but you can't rely on Jones. I just think it's around about the right combination. I won't be disappointed if we signed Alderweireld or another top-class centre-back, but I would personally rather see the money spent elsewhere and see Lindelof and Bay be given a chance. Let's not forget, Jose bought both those players, so he should be getting the best out of them. Sonny the Dude says Matic should play centre-back with Bay, then 3 centre midfielders. God, I don't know about that, but, maybe people think that's a good move.
He could do. Matic, we've seen in some games where we haven't needed as much, obviously, defence-minded players when he's taken off a centre-half, and you've seen Matic slot into there. He's a typical Jose centre-half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tall, slow, can head the ball, and he can actually pass out from the back. I could see Matic actually playing centre-half. People might laugh, but
Carrick used to do it, didn't he?
So, exactly. Yeah. He's got the attributes, man. If you're smart enough, you can play there.
Keen Hall says, will defenders learn about Salah? Well, speak of Ashley Young. He knows how to deal with Salah. It's about the only player he does. The Ashley book, the Ashley Young book of defending starts and ends with Mo Salah. It's the only player he can deal with, but he did deal with him very, very well this season. Nice little feed in there, though. Strikers, Sophie. Arnautovic has obviously been linked. Mandzukic's been linked. I'd like to see us go after somebody a little bit younger. Martial's future still in the air. We know Lukaku will be the main man. Similar sort of question, really, and let us know in the live comments what you think and who you think we could go for, because I think Lewandowski, Icardi, yeah, they'd be great, but we're not going to go for someone like that because they're going to have to understudy Lukaku. Do you think we need an understudy for Lukaku, Sophie? Do you think, or do you, maybe like what I said there? I mean, yeah, centre-back would be nice, but I'd rather see the money spent elsewhere. Do you think we need to go and sign a striker? And what sort of player do you think we should be going for if you do?
To be honest, I'll be excited to see someone like Griezmann, or somebody who can link up with Lukaku, somebody who's going to not necessarily be an understudy, but maybe playing that 10 if Jose switches up. But I think until we change our style of play, it's hard to say what kind of striker to get up there with Lukaku. I mean, we're not exactly providing service for him at the moment as such. We're not playing internet wingers, so I think we need to see what system Jose is going to go with. And it's hard to judge that, but I'd like to see someone like Griezmann or Dybala still. And I continue to say I can see Griezmann happening. And I know people will shake their head and laugh at me, but that would be the kind of player that I would be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, same question. Let me just have a look at some of the live comments. Loan Rashford out, says Lee Sugden. And that was the interest. I was going to ask Flex that, so I'll come back to that in a minute. Karen Cooper says Fosu Mensah. Well, he can't play up front, mate. And I think we need to sign a manager, says David Choi. Well, yeah, well, some people do think that. Sanchez is bad, says Dennis Young. I think Zaha would be a good signing for United, says Callum Adlin. I couldn't see him coming back. And Anthony Kernow says, Arnautovic is X Factor on his day. Maybe Old Trafford will be his stage. And Mourinho will be his Simon Cowell. But yeah, I mean, I suppose most people, Flex, would say Rashford should be the understudy. But then you've got some people who feel that that's not right. He needs first team football and maybe a loan. What are your thoughts? Do you think we do need an understudy? Let's not forget, we still had Rashford and Martial and had Zlatan. Zlatan went, we never replaced him. So there maybe is a spot there.
Yeah, I think there's a spot there. I think the problem comes is the fact that Jose doesn't rest Lukaku. So you can have an understudy there, but if you're going to say to Rashford, right, I want you to be my backup striker for the year, he may as well kiss goodbye to his game time for 95% of the year, because we've seen it last year. Jose plays Lukaku in every single game for 90 minutes, barring 1 or 2 cup games. I think he didn't start against Yeovil in the FA Cup, and I can't remember. There's probably a couple of other times. That's the one that sticks out in my head. And so in terms of that's why Rashford has obviously been wide areas, because Jose, he has his number 9 and he sticks with that striker. That's just how he is. He doesn't rotate. So I think if we played a different way, then it would be a great thing for Rashford to stay and obviously try and be understudy to Lukaku. But I think he's very much knows what his role is at the club, which is a forward across the front three at any time, and wants to develop his game that way. Because I would love to see players like Rashford epitomise what Man United's about. Like, someone come through the youth rank, they've got bags of talent, and they should be with the club to obviously kick on and can do it within first team setting. Yeah, I know Jesse was obviously out alone, and he made his way that way, and it can happen. But with someone like Rashford, I think he's good enough to be around the first team. You don't come into, with Jesse, he had to bide his time and then got in there the last couple of years. With Rashford, he was bang on the scene and proved he was good enough from being that young. So for me, I think he's a bit different to Jesse in that case, in terms of he proved his worth in the first few months of his career, in his first season, really, let's face it. So I would like to see him stay, but with the way that we're playing, you can't say to Rashford, stay and be an understudy for a striker, because Jose is not gonna allow that. And to answer your question about or for my thoughts on like you said, a Lewandowski or bringing in another striker, Jose's made his mind up. Lukaku's going to be a mainstay, so we either need to adapt our style of play to further accommodate Lukaku, which is, he needs people people passing forward quickly to get him in behind.
All right, looks like we might have lost Flex there. He's frozen. No, he's back.
Lukaku's going to be the guy.
Rashford needs games, says Tom Mercy. John Sherrell, Rashford must be loaned. He is trying to show off when he can't beat the first man from a corner. Rory Bacon, we need Sandro, Savic and Griezmann. And Tom Hall says, whatever happened to Fabinho? Yeah, I think he's trolling us a little bit. Andrew Southwick, I thought people were originally saying Belotti. Turns out they were saying Balotelli. Kill me now, says Andrew Southwick. I don't think we want to do that, Andrew, and I certainly don't. Some people might want Balotelli, but in relation to... there's some comments from Ryan Giggs, Sophie, very interesting ones through ESPN, where he says, Giggs has said, I understand how the club works, what the fans want. Rashford, Martial, Pogba must be set free to do their thing. Quite interesting comments from Ryan Giggs there about Manchester United. And... I mean, I don't know, you can take it one of two ways, but I think Giggs sort of expressing what a lot of United fans feel, that obviously the football's not been that good, but also that the style of play isn't that good. I've just if somebody in the live comments can just let us know if we're struggling with the stream, because I can see that we've gone from 3,000 watching live down to 2,000, so I can't see anything in the live comments. If people can let us know what the problem is, that would be absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Sophie, let us know what your thoughts are.
I think saying, we keep saying, if you look at Ava, realistically, we should be 9 teams, and we look too slow. And it's happened week in, week out. So it's not just an off game. It's obviously what's being worked on at the training ground. Likes of Martial, the likes of Rashford and Pogba, all of them need to be set free. Pogba especially, I think, needs to be given that free role, not relied on defensively. That's where his game really falls. If you look against City, that's the only time really he took the game by the scruff of the neck. And yeah, he was set free a little bit and he scored 2 goals. And Pogba, and yes, you can blame the players. I get that, because at the end of the day, once they're on the pitch, that's their job. But to me, most of the players look scared to take a risk. Scared to fast forward. Will do. I think they need to be given players like Rashford and that. As Flex mentioned earlier, he sums up what Man United is about, and I think he does need to be given more time. And that's why I didn't mention him in the second striker, because I think Rashford and Martial can do that job if used in the right way.
Yeah, I think we are having a few problems here with Sky. This is the problem when it's live. I apologise for that. They are breaking up a little bit, but some people are saying it's constantly crashing. Some people saying it's all right. It's a bit laggy. We're not getting any issues at our end, but I do apologise for that. It seems to be a bit of a common issue, but not a lot we can do, unfortunately. Let's have a look at what else we wanted to talk about. Laurent Blanc. Don't really want to talk about that, to be honest. This was interesting. Don Balon. If people don't know what Don Balon is, it's an outlet in Spain. I would liken it probably to something of the level of the Daily Star in the UK. Basically saying that United might do Bale for Pogba. Obviously a load of nonsense, but if it was a hypothetical, because sometimes we like to talk about that, is that something that you would consider, Flex, Pogba for Bale?
No, I'd give it a quick thought, and then I'd quickly choose to stick with Pogba, because, like I said, the talent that's in that boy is unrivaled, and obviously he's a lot younger than Bale. I say a lot younger, but about 4 years younger than him, isn't he? Something like that. So I would definitely keep Pogba, because I think Pogba's he's got potential to be the best midfielder in the world, easily. But for one reason or another, for a mixture between tactics and mentality from himself, and the situation with Jose, although he says it's not awful, he hasn't said it's great, has he? So there's definitely something going on there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pogba have an amazing World Cup, express himself, with all us United fans saying, "Where's this been? Why can't we see this?" So no, I wouldn't swap him for Bale now.
Sophie, same question to you.
No, I wouldn't swap him. I think at the end of the day, Pogba's still got a lot of his career ahead of him. I do believe that if he's in there with the right partnership in the middle, we will see him thrive. At the start of the season, I think he showed glimpses of what he can do, and I just think he needs to be given more of a free role, and we'll really see the best of Paul Pogba.
Good. I would agree. I don't really want Pogba to go either. Let's take some of your comments then. It's been a bit of a tricky show tonight, so please do support the tricky show on the United Stand. Drop us a like on the video and give us some of your questions that you want us to touch on. Joe Barnes says, I would take Bale over Pogba any day of the week. I thought there might be some people saying that, but Samuel Antwi says, please don't sign Bale. Where is the Alexandro transfer talk, says Barnaby Clark. All I can update you on that is that last night Duncan Castles, in that article that we were talking about Bale, said that we are in advanced talks for him. It's gone very, very quiet with him. Some people think it's not going to happen, but I hope it's going to happen. Pogba is so good, it's not the players. Stop blaming he plays. Please, it's the coach, says Kev Muller. Sorry, I think he was getting so excited he couldn't construct a sentence. But effectively he was saying Pogba's good, it's the coach's fault, which, I know a lot of people do agree with that. And let Pogba go. Sir Alex Ferguson was right to let him go, says Peter Doyle. Jordan says, can he Skype tomorrow? You certainly can. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock is your show to Skype in and have your say. And what about Ronaldo, says Divya Kumar. I don't think we'll hear about anything in relation to Real Madrid players for a few weeks till they get a new manager in. Obviously, Laurent Blanc looks like he's going to Chelsea. I think that's good. Chelsea fans are moaning about it. Has anyone bid for Jones or Smalling? Says Bad Brab. I doubt it. Don't think we're going to get that lucky. Would Griezmann or Bale even make a difference with our style of play, says Red Jedi? Sophie, you were on about Griezmann. Do you think Griezmann would make a difference with our style of play last year, or do you think it really does, like somebody was saying there, we've got to improve the style of play?
At the minute, no, and I've said this in the past, we could sign Neymar, Ronaldo, anyone. But if they're going to be told to defend constantly and not be given freedom, then it's pointless having them there. So Martial at the moment, who is a fantastic talent, but he's not being used in the right way, and that's down to the management and the style of play. So it needs to change first.
Flex, Griezmann, do you think Griezmann can be done for a start?
I think there's a bit of renewed optimism there. Yeah, I think it looked like almost a done deal to Barcelona, and that seems to have stalled. And then I don't know whether it's a bit silly of me to think, but it's something to get excited about in the transfer window. I just think that because the France team are obviously together at the World Cup, and I'm seeing Pogba and Griezmann back at it again, a bit more Agent P, obviously he introduced him to his mum. Mum was doing the celebration. I don't know. I can just imagine like conversation in their hotel room, or Pogba just saying, "Look, man, just come. We can create something here." For all we know, Jose Pogba could be saying, "Look, Mourinho might not be there for long. It will change in a couple of years. We don't know. These guys are just friends." And I think back to obviously when I'm playing, just obviously nowhere near that level, but you can speak to your friends and you ask your friends to come over, and you might say, "Yeah, we can make something happen. I spoke to the manager already." Well, it's no different with these players. People think because they're multi-millionaires, but they're not normal people. They don't have normal conversations. And I have a laugh about stuff. And I reckon that Pogba's in his ear just saying, "Look, man, just calm. It was supposed to happen last year. You were loyal to Atletico. Fair play. Showed he's a decent guy. But come on, man. Just come. We can create something." And then all of a sudden you've got a good core of French players there. In Martial, if you say Pogba and Griezmann, that would be amazing.
Germany says swap Pogba for Bale once we get Savic and Fred. Can sort of see that. I mean, just to play devil's advocate a bit, Pogba could be the one who said to Griezmann back in January, "Don't come to United, it's a bloody nightmare." But Ross Johnson said, "I heard Barca might get a transfer ban because of illegal talks with Griezmann." I haven't heard that, but I've seen a few people saying that in the live comments. So I think Griezmann will either go to Barcelona or stay at Atletico Madrid, because I think United signed Sanchez and that destroyed any deal of us getting Griezmann. As much as I've always said I think he would fit us like a glove. I just want to bring something in here, Sophie, actually, because I've noticed a lot of people over the last couple of days getting a bit moody in the United fan base because of transfer talks and everything. I mean, the United stand, I think, is quite an educated community, and a lot of people know that we do like transfers on this show, and we're quite educated about players, and we're passionate about talking about players, whether they're going to come to United or not. We need a signing, though. I think we do need a signing, because I am starting to see it on social media. People are just getting very, very frustrated. Do you share that frustration? I mean, we are still pretty much 2 weeks away from the World Cup. We're only at the start of June. I suspect this frustration is probably based on the fact that other clubs like Liverpool have had quite a strong start to it, but nobody else has.
I think as long as we make the signings that we need to make and Jose gets the players that he wants, yeah, obviously you'd rather signings to happen sooner rather than later, of course you would, but in an ideal world that would be what happens, but it just can't. Like Flex says, players have lives, they have agents, most are going to the World Cup, so there's a lot of factors to take in. Sooner the better, yes, but as long as we get the players in by the deadline who we need to get in, then I'll be happy. But I think Fred will be done pretty soon, to be honest with you. I get people's impatience, but at the end of the day, the transfer window has only just started. United get linked with every player under the sun, and I think a lot of fans get really excited and want to believe those rumours, and you just have to try and keep grounded a little bit. And it is hard because we get linked with literally everybody. But I just think as long as the signings are made eventually, then I'm happy.
Yeah, I spot on. We will be linked with absolutely everybody, and United at the end of the day are the biggest club in the world. They're certainly the biggest club in England, and that's what people want to read about. But I agree with Paul Robinson. He says as long as we got them by the tour, Liverpool have done it, but why can't we do it? Jose said he does have a list, and buggers off. Come on, Ed. I don't know where Mourinho is, to be honest, at the moment. And to be honest with you, I don't really think it's on Mourinho. we can judge Mourinho in the transfer window flex when we know what the players are that he's going to buy. But at the moment, it's all on Woodward. I don't think it's panic stations quite yet, but I do sort of understand why we were live last Sunday night. When we went live, Liverpool were linked to him at 8 o'clock, Fabinho. By 9 o'clock, they'd officially signed him. That Sanchez deal, how long were we talking about that in January? United just seem to be... I don't think it's any different to Liverpool. I just think, like Fabinho, they obviously kept it very quiet and they can keep it quiet. I think United, a deal probably does take 2 or 3 weeks to get over the line. But look at this Fred one. We've known for 2 weeks it's pretty much going to get done. It won't be over the line for another 2 days. You get Liverpool, Fabinho, 2 hours. And that's United. I don't know. We're always... just maybe United need to have a look at... Maybe they do it on purpose. I don't know. I just think you get more out of a transfer if it's quick. And I've seen it happen a couple of times now. Pogba was like 4 weeks before it was official. Sanchez was 2 weeks. And by the time it's official, it's almost lost a bit of that glamour. Whereas I'd love to see United just go boom and get a deal done.
Yeah, exactly. I think just the size of our club and the money that we have, it just means that we're just constantly linked to people. And I think it probably makes a lot of the negotiations a lot harder than you think, because I know we give Ed a lot of stick, but yes, it's his job, so he's got to do it. But it must be 10 times harder than doing that position for Liverpool, say, because we're held to ransom a lot of the time because of the money that we have and the entity that these players are gonna have and the platform that we're gonna give them. So I thought about deals like shirt sales and commercial stuff. We're so big that it must be even harder to negotiate some of these deals. And if you take the sentiment away from it, which is we all like to get excited about it, the facts are, we are still very early in the transfer window, and if Liverpool hadn't signed Fabinho just like that in that manner, we wouldn't be feeling as bad as we are. And I think, I don't know who said it, one of the people in the comments, but as long as we got these guys by tour, then then it's good work. We all want it to be nice and quick and easy and not drag out like a soap opera, but it's Man United. It's just the way it's done. Even in the Fergie days, there were some transfers that used to take ages and we to get linked with here and then. It's just always been the way, even with Gil. So, but it seems it's gone even more so with Woodward. But I think that's just the way football's gone with the types of money that's been brandished around. We probably get quoted silly money for players initially when we go in to inquire, I can imagine. Ed was picking up the phone and saying, "No, we just want a possibility of so-and-so." And then just hearing astronomical prices and they go down from there. So I wouldn't get too disheartened yet. It's only been open 2 weeks, the transfer window. Like you said, it can all change very quickly as well. Because if we get Fred within the next couple of days, then hopefully a Sandro or the other fullback, and we start to see a bit of momentum gathered.
I think,
Sorry.
I think as well. I was going to say, we've got to sell some players as well. I'm sure that'll be what's going on at the moment. We've got to offload some players. Maybe it all hinges on Fellaini staying. If Fellaini stays, then we won't sign anyone.
Yeah, I think Fellaini hopefully will get something this week on him. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen if he signs a new contract. I dread to think. I just don't think he can. I mean, I'll just go back to you on that, Flex. Actually, I know I asked you this before, but what's the general feeling amongst the fans at the ground in relation to Fellaini? I mean, obviously, I know how the United Stand fans, followers, community feel, but in the ground, you always hear the mumblings about him when he comes on. Do you think he could survive signing that contract? I mean, obviously, literally he will, but it's even got worse in the close season with him sort of like, everyone knows he's trying to get a better deal elsewhere, but he's got United in his back pocket if he wants it. He made those comments about United making a big mistake. Can he seriously sign a new contract and expect to be walking out at Old Trafford next season?
Well, firstly, you got to admit this. It is actually Manchester United's fault, like that they were in this position, because they should have either got rid of him a long time ago and sold him for the money, or got the new deal sorted. And the fact that we laughed at Arsenal for letting Alexis be in that situation where he could choose where he wanted to. The fact is, we've got a player we don't even want who's in that position. So who's worse there? Just off that. But in terms of Fellaini and the fans, yeah, he's very much. I'm not even going to say Marmite because I don't know a lot of people that love Fellaini, if I'm honest. He's a good plan C, even plan B. Is like, he's a good plan C. If he is going to stay, he needs to be nowhere near the starting 11 and just chuck him on in the last 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like there hasn't been games that he's been
handful. You know, when he was at Everton and played further up the pitch as a false nine or just behind the striker, he's an absolute handful. Now, obviously, for Manchester United, we don't want an attacking force like that. I'm not suggesting sign Fellaini up and then play him as a number 10. I'm not saying that. But when he was most effective, when he has been effective at Man United, it's when he's in the final third of the opposition. He's a handful, but only as a plan C, not even a plan B. So, yeah, can he expect to sign a contract and get love off the fans? Not for the first few appearances, but you know, football fans are fickle. It's about results and goals. If he comes on and scores against City in the last minute because we stuck him on and he scores, then everyone's going to love him and start wearing Fellaini, including Newmark.
Yeah.
So,
no,
you know,
I won't.
it just depends.
Never going to happen. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think, Mark, talk about who will be our captain next season. Yeah, I quite like that from Anaban. Sophie, who do you think the captain will be next season?
I would give it to De Gea, so he stays, to be honest with you. Stays for as long as possible. It's got to be someone who talks English, no disrespect to Valencia, but that's just ridiculous for me. Who would I give it to? That's a tough question, that is, though. Depends who we sign. We need a big character, really.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo. No, I'd probably say, currently, I'll probably give it to De Gea.
Yeah, I think it will still be Valencia, and Man United fan just says it'll probably be Valencia, but I've never understood why Manchester United will not... why Mourinho seems to have lost the ability to realise that a captain's important. I mean, he had John Terry as his leader, and that was a big thing at Chelsea, but at United, he just seems to be able to give it out to anybody. Fellaini is a clown, says Mike D. And Sophie, leave your hair alone, says the Chaos Factory one.
I just read that one.
Need players that can handle the pressure, says A. Patel. And Lukaku, says the football twins. Oh, I don't know about that. And what was that comment there? Oh, sorry, it's whizzed by. I wouldn't give De Gea or any keeper the captaincy, says Wheels. I much prefer a defender or a midfielder, which is fair enough. Right, I'm going to end it there because I know we've had a lot of problems with the lag and I don't want to keep testing fate with it. Thanks for coming on, Flex.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Pleasure as always.
And even then he was breaking up. And thanks for coming on, Soph.
No problem. Pleasure as always. Thank you for having me on.
Apologies everyone for the lag if it was breaking up and that. I mean, this is the downside of a live stream. Sometimes we do very well. 99% of the time they run smoothly. I think today we've hit a few hiccups and it might be to do with the weather in the UK as well. But thanks everyone for watching. We nearly got to 1,000 likes, so please do drop a like on the video if you didn't before we left. It is not Tesco Value Internet, Devil's Ace. And it is tomorrow night, is the Skype show for you lot. Of course, Transfer Daily is back in the morning. Some interesting players to talk about. Thanks everyone for watching. We can't do it without you lot. Brilliant live comments as per usual. Really looking forward to the Skype show tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your weekend and a good start to your weekend. And we'll see you all tomorrow. I don't think we'll be having any videos or anything signed tonight. It's Sunday night after all, but could be a big week for United. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Oh, that was a